Alrighty folks, coming at you guys today with a tier list for version 1.7.3. Got a lot of good feedback on the version 1.7.3 state of the game video. If you haven't checked that one out, I'll put the thumbnail up on the screen here and link it down below. You can check that out. A lot of good discussion in the comments about what we want to see for the future of the game, how the game has panned out recently following the 1.7.3 update. Normally for these balance patches, I would just do a tier list update, pull up my old tier list and move some heroes around in it. But the last tier list I did for version 1.7, which I'll put the thumbnail up on the screen here and link it down below as well, was for legacy specific, because I thought, oh, your home, your legacy, we'll have legacy to play for a while. Let's see how the heroes stack up on that map, which is a little bit different, where verticality and movement over obstacles was more important. In this one, we're going back to the old map, 1.7.3. Let's dive right into the tier list. Once again, I've done a lot of examination of these numbers on ometa.city/heroes, where you can see win rate and pick rates for all different heroes across ranked at different ranks. We're focusing primarily on the gold through platinum range, but you can check out diamond and paragon and silver and whatnot as well. I've got some top and bottom win rate performers that we're going to get into first. Real quick, going through the tiers, same as last time basically. S tier, most overtuned heroes, heroes that are at the top of the win rate ladder, heroes that I think probably could do for some buffs. Not going to be too many in the S tier for us this time. I think the balance is pretty tight right now. A tier, best at their role, the heroes that I expect to see perform the best at their given role in most games. B tier, decent, in the middle of the pack heroes, good if you're good with them. Not too many downsides to picking them. C tier, situational value, heroes that there may just be better options than in most situations, or if you're just really good one trick with them, then you can take them into most games. And then D tier, low expectations. Again, I don't expect to have many heroes down here, but we are going to have some of the lower win rate heroes down here. But like I said, the balance is very tight right now. So let's get right into it. Want to make this one a little bit quicker. You guys know I usually yap on for too much, but let's go with some of the top and bottom win rate heroes first. Starting off, let's go ahead and get it out of the way. Rena, blatantly overtuned, just ridiculously overpowered. Strongest hero in the game, highest win rate in the game at silver and across all ranks. In gold and diamond and plat, she appears in the top 4 or 5 win rates. So it is what it is. Diamond, actually a low win rate for some reason. I guess people are it's just a super low sample size up there. People aren't letting her through. And if they do let her through, probably the entire 5-team focuses her to prevent her from getting value. Just a stupidly overpowered hero. Does not make the game more fun. I can't play with or against Rena without feeling like this is a grossly unfun, overpowered hero. Why did we put so many tools in her kit? We've talked about Rena plenty in the past. Just know she's the most broken hero in the game right now for sure. Please go in the comments and make your argument that she's balanced. If you're a playtester, let me know why you told Ometa she was balanced when you knew she wasn't. Let's go. Let's just get past it. Let's just get past it. Other members I want to put up here into the S tier just because of their win rate. We're going to leave Boris up here. I think Boris himself isn't necessarily overtuned. I think the nerfs put Boris in a decent spot. By the way, the nerfs were 0.1 per level, less healing per auto, which is 0.1. What even is that? But it's not his fault that he's overtuned. It's anti-heal's fault. It's the fact that you can build Draconum Void Helm on him and then 2 or 3 lifesteal items and just be unkillable. If anti-heal was better, or if the lifesteal items weren't as good, or the lifesteal boosting items like Void Helm, Draconum, he wouldn't be up here. I don't think he's fundamentally that strong. But still a very high win rate hero across silver through diamond. So, I mean, he's got to be up here. Another one in that same boat, Chimera. I would have Chimera over Boris. It's not his fault that he's overtuned. It's that anti-heal isn't strong enough. Chimera does fall off late game. He falls off at some of the higher ranks, although still second highest win rate in diamond. A solid hero, a solid pick. The Jungle Invade augment still strong. If Void Helm, Draconum were nerfed and anti-heal were buffed, he would not be up here. Another hero that's actually got a really high win rate across most of these ranks is Shinbi. We're going to put her near the top of A tier. Number 1 win rate in gold, number 1 win rate in diamond right now, and just a consistently top performer. I don't think she needed the buffs that she got in this balance patch at all. I don't know why she got them, but does great damage, really impressive in solo lane, can get rolling in jungle as well as a burst E type of jungler. Doesn't have CC, so that's kind of where you lack, but crazy damage potential right now for sure. And then the other one we want to have up here in the A tier, consistently a top 4 win rate hero across silver, plat range, is going to be Yin. Yin is pretty strong right now. If you played Yin or played against her, you've probably felt her. She counters Sparrow very well. She counters a lot of ranged heroes and projectiles well. Has a really high skill cap if you get good with her. Good augment as well in the extended duration of her stem. Good build options too. Sky Splitter, Anoxian type builds doing very well on her right now. So that's going to do it for the ones I want to mention that are consistently in the top 4 to 5 win rate heroes in silver through diamond. Let's go to some of the bottom ones. We have less to mention here. Terra got some really unnecessary nerfs. I don't know why she got nerfs, but consistently a bottom 4 or 5 win rate hero in every rank, silver through diamond. You can still have good games with her and get good value with her, because her ult does give her CC immunity, which lets you dive the backline effectively. Can bully in solo lane if you are good at leveraging her shield bash or her shield dash with the added health shield when empowered. So very solid, builds Mutilator well, takes advantage of how underpowered anti-heal is right now if you want to go with that Mutilator build. But just low expectations if I see one on my team. A couple other ones that consistently are in low win rate ranges. I'm talking silver, gold, plat. A bottom 2 win rate hero in silver, gold, and plat, which I think is very unjust, is Yuri. We're going to slide her into situational value for that reason, because I think Yuri is still decent. She got those nerfs, her 3rd round of nerfs, but I think she is still very decent. She's what I would call a fundamentally strong hero with the dash reset. If you're good with Yuri, you're still going to get value with her most games. Just not quite as overtuned on the number side of things as she was before, but still a fundamentally strong hero if you're good with her. And then no surprise, if we're talking about win rates, he's got to be down here. I'm going to put him actually behind Yuri. Wraith, why does he get nerfed ever, really is my question. You have to be so good with Wraith to outcompete any mid laner, to outcompete any carry until like the 20 plus minute mark. His clear is just so rough, it makes it hard to keep up in lane early, and then you just gotta hope you can scale into the late game and hit your knock-knocks, because he does have good late game presence and good damage, and good safety from range and everything, but it's hard to pick him over his competition right now. So that's what I wanted to mention as far as top and bottom win rate heroes. Like I said, hop into Ometa City's hero win rate and pick rate statistics. I'll link this down below. Check it out. Play around in here. Look at different ranks. Look at plat. Look at wherever you're at. Check out these graphs. It's a great resource. Let's go through the rest of the tier list now. Argus. I've had some really good games with him. I'm tempted to say best at their role, but I think the competition is pretty stiff for him at both support and mid lane. But I've had great games with him, so it's tempting. I'll probably have him towards the top of B tier. The skill cap is there. If you get good with him, you can pull off some crazy plays with him. I'm a big fan of Argus right now. Aurora may end up having it towards the bottom of A tier. She's a great flex into support or jungle, plays solo lane well as she always has. Good build options, whether you want to go full tank or you want to go attack speed with the augment. Just a solid hero, a good tank killer too in solo lane, a good answer to solo lane tanks. Not as strong as she used to be, but still very good. High skill ceiling with the ice wall glides. Countess, still ridiculously strong. This is going to be the nature of every hero that is a primary lifestealer or healer in a meta where anti-heal is not strong enough. Countess, build your Magnify, build your Overseer, build your Lifebinder. Just go full lifesteal on her and just sit in those blood pools after you get a kill or assist, and you're going to full heal off of them anyway. Really strong hero, counters pretty much everybody in solo lane. The teleport is incredible mobility. Not much negative to say about Countess right now, just a very strong hero. Crunch. There are some ranks where Crunch has a low win rate, and there are some ranks where Crunch has a high win rate. I think he's still one of the better options at his role. Feels very oppressive after level 6. If you're not ahead of him by the time he hits level 6, you are in trouble. In solo lane and in jungle, he can have great performances, great CC chains. Probably view him as better than Aurora the majority of the time. A good healer that can abuse the lack of anti-heal meta. Build Mutilator on him. Stack up Void Helm and Draconum with his passive healing from his ult, and you can go top healed with Crunch comfortably most games. Decker, she's still in a good spot. She got the damage output nerfs. I think she's still decent. Good augments, good Riftwalker plays potential, CC chains, long range stun. Hard to really say anything too negative about her. Just tank supports are pretty valuable right now. Probably have her towards the top of B tier. I think she's more impactful in most games than an Argus if you're good with her. Drongo has climbed up some. His passive is better now. I don't think he's really that great. I think carries are very tight. You can have good games with Drongo just as you can have a good game with any carry. I think it's pretty situational that I would really consider picking a Drongo over the majority of the other carries. It's really just if you want that silence, or if you want to spam his ult or something crazy like that. You can do it and get good value for sure, but I would call it situational. Feng Mao probably should be up here in the best at his role category. You don't see, at least I haven't seen as many Feng Maos going off recently, but if you do get ahead as Feng Mao, you have game carrying potential. I would probably put him on the level of Crunch in that spot where if you're good with him and you get ahead early, you can really swing the game and secure a lot of kills and dominate the backline dives. So we'll have him up here at best at his role. Gadget has really stepped into a high-performing spot, a great counter to Rena. I'm consistently having good games with her. You should be going top damage as Gadget if the game goes over 30 minutes. You just have a really slow start in the DPS front. Build Combustion if you want to smooth that out. I've had great success with that. Not too much negative to say other than the slow DPS early while you're stacking up her passive and getting items online. Gideon, I'm going to say Gideon decent. I'm not seeing that many Gideons do too well. I actually hold probably lower regard for him than Argus. You're trading the potential to deal extra damage or have better CC for his safety in lane, being able to teleport out of situations that he doesn't want to be in. Still a great 1v1 brawler if you're able to hit the follow-up routes and build Prophecy first. You can brawl with pretty much any mid laner if you build Prophecy first. But lower regard from me than Argus, I would think. Greystone, I'm going to have him towards the top of B tier. I think Greystone is still consistently valuable. He still brings a lot to the team, even without a hard CC. Has the revive for tower dives and objective secures and stuff like that. Has the great slow potential, great build options, whether you want to build crit or whether you want to build full tank. Just a fun hero, an easy hero to play. You're going to get good value out of him pretty much every single game. Grim, although Grim I think is a very good carry, we're probably going to have him towards the bottom of B tier. A lot of popular magical junglers and solo laners right now, so kind of hard to fit an extra magical hero into your lineup if you've got a magical support, if you've got a magical mid. I mean, you're starting to get to a point where the other team can just build 3 magical armor items. If you've got too much magical, and there's not too much you can do to them. But still, a hero that if you get ahead on, you can run down duo lane because of that slow on his attack stem. Grux, not a fan of Grux. I would say situational. There are some actual ranks where he is performing well, but there are some ranks where he's near the bottom. So we may slide him towards the bottom of B tier. I do not hold Grux in high regard. I think there's almost no reason to pick him unless you just aren't good with other heroes, because what he brings to the table is not impressive at all. I don't really like seeing a Grux on my team either. But he's still Grux. He still can be oppressive. We'll have him towards the bottom of C tier, I think. It's situational. It's maybe comp dependent, but there's very few situations where I'd prefer him over just a better, like, Crunch. You know, he's just a worse Crunch with unbalanced tick bleed damage and pretty oppressive healing, but that's the way things go. He may deserve to be towards the top of C tier, but I've always held Grux in low regard. I've always held him in low regard, so we'll leave him down here. Howie, pretty strong. Pretty rare that you come up against somebody who's not able to get value with Howie. Good auto attack and move speed augments to choose from. Good build options to choose from. Overseer is, of course, a must either way. To delete people with his ult, you can easily hit the jungler or the solo laner or even the carry or other mid for 3/4 of their health with his ult if you've got Overseer built. A solid hero, not too much negative to say about how he can outrange and compete, at least in clear, with most of the other popular mids right now. Iggy, I think Iggy's actually in a really good spot. I think most mid laners are actually in a really good spot, to be fair, but Iggy probably on par with Howie, gives you around the same range of objective secure as like a Gadget Howie. The Molotov augment has really stepped into a better spot since its buff and since the turrets have reduced health now and armor. I would recommend just taking the Molotov augment and trying to stack up its damage, because the turrets, if you take the 4 turret augment, they just get destroyed super fast since they have less health than armor now. But still just a good hero. Does really well at what Iggy does well at. The Molotov augment, I will say, makes him feel very strong and bursty when you've got that extra 200-ish damage by the end of the game stacked up on his Molotovs. The other team will feel it. Kallari, probably gonna stack Kallari up in the range of Greystone. A solid jungler. If you get ahead early, feels very oppressive, hard to pin her down. Great mobility, great fast rotates, fits the constant brawling meta. You don't have to farm with Kallari, you just have to keep jumping the lanes, and eventually your team will get ahead, even if you have to get behind for it a little bit. Good at sneaking in and grabbing fangs and stuff like that too, so probably on par with Greystone. Still not the best augment options compared to some of the other junglers, but a decent jungler, a fun jungler to play as well. Keep that in mind. Kira, as long as you've got a dash reset on Kira and as good of augments as she has, she's always going to be A tier, one of the better carries. I hold her in pretty high regard. I think she's comfortably a top 3 carry and probably will remain a top 3 carry unless they fundamentally change her kit. Keep in mind her ult is terrible and rarely will you get good ult value, but she makes up for it with how strong her passive and the rest of her kit is. Straightforward build options on her too. Ashbringer, Solaris, Psionic Echo type builds are my favorite. Either way, a great carry, comfortably top 3. Quang, skill dependent. For sure, skill dependent. I think probably on the tier a little bit higher than Aurora with what he can bring to the table. If you're good at hitting those tethers, you're going to be super impactful early to late game. The tether is just a very strong ability, prevents people from blinking away. You have a knock-up, you can chain with it. You have an ult you can jump into them with. Just a solid magical solo lane brawler. You're building them full health, or at least you should be building them full health pretty much every game with your Magnify, Oathkeeper, Worldbreaker type builds, but a fun hero to play as well. Get good with him and you'll be impactful all the way up to Diamond rank for sure. Belica, she's got to be up here with Gadget count, just a super oppressive hero, will outclear your opponent mid laner just with her auto attacks, which feels really rough when you're playing Gadget and you're having to dump all of your abilities and all of your mana to clear wave, and then Belica's just sitting there auto attacking it and clearing it faster than you. Has really good knockup potential. You can play her carry. I play her carry quite a bit. It's very fun. Has good ult kill potential too on people with Overseer. Just a solid mid laner, a solid carry too. If you build the full pin auto attack build, it's quite fun. Don't really foresee her getting too many nerfs either. I think they've got her where they want her, which is strong. So, it is what it is. Morigesh, as much as I want to put her in CD tier where she should be, where she belongs, because her kit is fundamentally not good, she is just straight up overtuned right now. I mean, I could put her in most overtuned just because she's overtuned, but it's not her fault. Like I've said, same with Kai and Boris, it's not their fault. It's the fact that anti-heal's not strong enough and the heal items are good. A hero like Morigesh with multiple in-kit healing abilities throw your Magnify, your Life Binder, your Overseer on top of that, and guess what? You've got a hero you cannot take down. A very high win rate hero, all the way up in Diamond rank as well. People playing your solo lane, very hard to contest her there. Just an unfun hero. Just the definition of an unfun hero to play against, to have in the game. An all damage, no CC hero. Just not an ult that is just a damage ult. Like, it's really not inspiring or exciting in any way. But as long as lifesteal is overpowered and anti-heal is too weak, she's going to be a decent hero. So what do you want me to say? Morn, still pretty much a top 3 support. Like, I don't know where he falls here in the A tier realistically, but probably right around Quang, I think, as how impactful I generally view a Morn. Just a clear-cut top 3 support. Like, as far as tank supports go, he's going to have great healing potential. He's got a good pull. He's got the good AoE mez to cancel people out of stuff. His ult is a little underwhelming at times, but still gets good value, still usable. Just a great tank, a great healer tank. Big fan of Morn. Got some nerfs, but they weren't really like that impactful to him. Still very viable in solo lane as well. Murdoch. Murdoch is kind of hit or miss. He is very fun to play. I think the thing about carries is they're all so close to each other that it's hard to really separate him too much from Kira, because if you're just a good Murdoch player, you're going to beat a Kira that's not quite as good as you, because the carry role is the tightest balanced role, most kind of skill dependent role generally on aim, especially him, because you got to aim his ult. If you're comfortable and used to his ult timing, then you can get great value with him all throughout the game and get really ahead and snowball. So we'll have him here probably towards the top of B tier, but keep in mind he's not that far separated from our top couple carries. Muriel, same token. Muriel can be pretty impactful, but you have to be pretty good with her to get better value out of her than like a Decker. I think we'll have her right around Decker, because it doesn't seem like she can really be as impactful as Decker most games, unless you're just really good with her. I have seen Muriels that do very well and make their carry look incredible, that save their solo lane in bad situations, that ult in clutch moments in Fang fights and secure their team the team fight win. So we'll have her right around here with Decker, very similar. The range support's kind of all for the same token right now. Narbash, a pseudo tank support. You're generally not building him full tank, you're generally building some more enchanter type items on him. Does feel pretty impactful most games, but hard to stack up against the true tank supports like Richter, Steel, Morn. We'll slide him. He does have a pretty high win rate at some ranks, to be fair, but he also, like in the silver gold range, he has a pretty poor win rate, and then once you get up a little higher, he has a pretty high win rate. We'll slide him right around here with Decker and Muriel. I think he's kind of in that range of a pseudo tank support, but incredible late game, just really weak early. His early game is not going to compete with Decker or Muriel, but his late game will, so that's just how it goes with Narb, right? FaZe, in the past I've had her in low expectations tier. I still pretty much hold low expectations for a FaZe on my team, but I've seen FaZes do better since she got these slight buffs that she got. We'll slide her to the bottom of C tier. I says situational value right there on the screen. I can't really think of the situation where I would actually want a FaZe on my team, but she is performing a little bit better than she was before, and I have seen a couple decent FaZes in my games recently. So I mean, we'll leave her at the bottom of C for now. If I can't come up with a situation in my head where I would want a FaZe by the end of this video, I will slide her down to D tier. Ramp, not really as much of a threat or a presence as he was in the past. I do not fear seeing a Ramp. He got really unnecessary nerfs in this last balance patch. I don't know why he got those nerfs. I thought he was in a fine spot. I no longer fear the tiny Ramp running at me as I used to. No longer fear the big Ramp tanking for his team. You can still have great Ramp games. Still viable in support in solo, but you probably don't want him there. We'll have him here towards the bottom of B tier. I just don't see a reason to pick him anymore since they nerfed him I don't know why you would pick him unless Kai and Boris were both off the board and you didn't know how to play Crunch, maybe. And you don't like Quang. Like, there's too much competition. Not a real good reason to pick him the majority of the times. I would take Yuri. I would play Yuri over him every single time. But if you like Ramp, don't let me discourage you. Ramp is still definitely viable. Just, I think there's better options in most situations. Rev is kind of boom or bust, right? He's kind of the definition of a boom or bust hero. You get ahead early, you can 1v1 people, you can make good Shadow Realm plays around objective fights or in team fights to get those isolations off. How does he stack up against Murdoch? In most games, he's not going to be able to compete with Murdoch. Just in the consistent DPS. His burst DPS is good. We'll have him right here around Gideon, I think, range. He's good if you're good with him. He's good if you have a good support with you to help with the early game DPS, but it's just for the first 15 minutes, the pure DPS of most carries that are not reloading is going to be higher, or at least the consistent DPS is going to be higher, because he's really reliant on that fourth shot burst damage or a root combo. So granted, you play him with a Richter, he hits the root, Richter hits the pull, it's going to be GG for the duo lane. Speak of the devil, we got Richter up next. Richter is a game decider. One pull is all it takes to decide the game most of the time on Richter. I hold him in high regard as a top 3 support alongside Morn, just because of how impactful he can be. Even if you're missing pulls, his ult can be very impactful in a team fight. So, hard to move Richter much lower than this. I do frequently try to ban Richter in my ranked games if my support doesn't want to play him. But just not too much of a gap on Morn. I think Morn is still very strong. Because Richter doesn't come with the healing, Morn will out-heal him, but Richter will deal better damage, so, you know, 6 one way, half a dozen of the other, both great tank supports right now. Sereth, she got some buffs to her cooldowns. I think she is very decent. You can have great games with Sereth still. You have good build options with her as well, whether you want to go like the Earthshaker Rapture, Tainted Blade, Aegis of Agawar type build for big health, or if you want to go crit, you can still get the Ashbringer build off very well on her, Anoxian Quiver, whatever you prefer. A solid hero, a decent hero. The cooldowns did help her some. She feels very comfortable in lane and whatnot, but not her like former ridiculously overtuned glory with Ashbringer that she used to have. Sev, still very strong late game, has a kind of lower win rate at some of the higher tiers though. Probably a situational pick just because he's very counterable. If you're playing him in solo and the solo lane knows what they're doing, they're going to build anti-tank and cook him, and he's going to have a really tough lane. But late game he is incredibly strong. We'll actually slide him up here near ramp because I think he does deserve some respect for being the tankiest late game hero. It's just you most of the time, at least if your opponent solo laner knows what they're doing, they're going to build their Mutilator, Sky Splitter, whatever into a Megacosm and cook him. And then in jungle, you just have a really slow start. You've got to focus a lot on getting those passive stacks going so that you can be impactful in the late game. It doesn't have the early game presence of a Boris, Chimera, Yin, Shinbi type hero. But still like strong, still deserves respect for how tanky he is late game. Skylar, she's going in A tier, right? Skylar's still a very strong hero. I don't think she's as strong as Kira most games, but some games she does look like it, right? We won't separate her too far off of Kira. I think she is clearly a top 3 carry. Very solid right now. Great tank killing potential. If you're good with her, you have good ult. If you get ahead with Skylar, it's basically GG because you can leverage being ahead on Skylar better than you can leverage being ahead with most carries because of that crazy beam damage and her very strong slow grenade. So we'll leave her up here. I think she competes comfortably with the top 3 carries. Speaking of top 3 carries, we've got Sparrow. I think the nerfs did what they were supposed to do. I think she's still pretty solid. I think her ult is strong. but the movement speed on her Invis Aug being nerfed does help. Tempted to still put her number 1 carry, I guess. It's really tight. Most people are going to have better games with Sparrow because she's easier to use than Kira, but I would prefer Kira. If I needed a carry to hard carry my games, I would rather play Kira, but you can still take the ult augment on Sparrow, build your Vank, build your Sky Splitter and stuff like that, and then cook. But I think she is in a much more balanced place than she used to be. Really? Really, Miss Goonie? Okay. Miss Goonie invasion, folks. What are we doing? Really? You need some attention right now when we're recording? Okay. Okay. Calm down. Calm down, ma'am. Oh, dear. She's not going to calm down. Alright, Steel. Ma'am. Steel. Really, ma'am? Can we just... Probably belongs up here near Richter and Morn. Just extremely tanky. One of the strongest tanks in the game, especially late game. Pretty oppressive even early game in solo lane compared to the other melee supports. We'll slide him right here with the big 3. You know, this is the big tanky 3 right here. They're going to be impactful. All 3 playable in solo lane. All 3 very strong support options. Faye, I can't deny my bias. She's a clear-cut A tier. I think she's as good most games, if not better than Gadget. Incredibly impactful in team fights. Incredibly high pressure in lane with the nettles if you're good at hitting them. She did get the nerfs to her slow, which does hurt her. It's very noticeable that people aren't getting slowed as much anymore. But the nettles pressure is crazy. Can she beat a Bellica most of the time? Not unless you're good with her. Can she beat a Gadget most of the time? She should be able to. Just a strong kit, a fun kit to use too. My favorite mid laner, and pretty much always has been. Yeah, I think we like her here. I'm tempted to move the Shinbi and Yin around, but they're consistent high win rates, so like we'll leave them up here just for that reason. Twin, a very solid carry. I think we probably want him towards the top of B tier realistically with Doc. The best thing about Twin, I think we actually probably have him very top of B tier maybe. The best thing about Twin is the build potential options. You've got good crit Twin Blast build options, you've got good flat pin crit Twin options, you've got the old Cringe Blast build with Infernum that's still viable. You can build a different build. You can build the grenade spam. I always take the long range vaporize, but the grenade spam is very oppressive. So just a good mix of options for him for every situation. That's probably what makes Twin so good, is the versatility. So yeah, I mean pretty much on par with Murdoch, but I think a higher win rate hero the majority of the time than Murdoch. Pretty strong in most situations. Very, very fast paced early too, which kind of helps him get rolling. Wukong, they keep nerfing Wukong and he keeps being decent. I don't think we're going to put him too much higher than decent just because of how hard you have to work on him or how good you have to be with him to get that value. You look at Wukong in solo lane, can he beat a Quang? Can he beat a Feng Mao Crunch in solo lane? Of course he can. I've done it with Wukong, and I don't even play Wukong. So I know if you're good with Wukong, you can beat these other heroes. Incredible elusiveness, hard to pin down, great split pusher, but you've got to work hard with him and be pretty decent with him to get that value. If you get CC chained, you can get cooked on him because you're usually not building any sort of tank on him. You can, though. I mean, you can build Overlord and your Elefrost and everything and have good games with him, but generally in jungle you're going like the Mind Razor build and being a little softer. So near the top of decent for me. I think in that same range, if I see one picked, it's kind of in the same tier or range as if I see a Twin Blast picked as far as what I'm thinking, how strong I'm thinking they're going to be. Zarus is probably right around that same range. I think there's a lot of games where you can do really well with Zarus. I don't know if he is as good as Sereth in most situations, but probably close. There's a lot of situations where you can get ahead with Zarus and have really great late games. Does decent with his sustain from his passive in solo lane. Does even better in jungle when you're forcing ganks as soon as your ult comes off cooldown. There are some ranks where he has really high win rates and some ranks where he has really low win rates. Plat, he's like a top 3 win rate in Plat right now. So I can recommend Zarus, mainly in jungle though. I don't know if he if you're good with him, you definitely compete in solo, but I don't know if he competes with some of the more meta solo laners right now. But still fun. Still, don't pick him into somebody who can get out of your cage easy, you know. You don't pick him into the Countess, Feng Mao, Gideons and stuff that can just get out of the cage for free, because then you're not gonna get ult value out of him. And then finally Zinx. Higher regard for Zinx than some of these other ones in the situational tier, but it's still pretty situational. You've got to work fairly hard on Zinx. I don't know, I mean, compared to Muriel, there's a lot of situations where Zinx is better than Muriel. I think, actually. Let's throw her right there. I think there's a lot of situations where you're leveraging her stun, the long range slow, and just the massive amount that she can spam heals. She can have much better games than Muriel's, and the revive is very impactful. Very similar heroes overall, great auto attack damage out of both of them. But let's leave her right there, and then let's look through this list, see if there's anyone we want to move around. S tier, most overtuned. Like I said, these were placed here based off their win rates. Check out Ometa City, go argue with how well they track statistics. I don't know how you argue with the numbers because they're not going to argue back, but you're welcome to. These heroes are high win rates. It's not their fault. It's because of lifesteal versus anti-heal right now. Rena, it is their fault. It is Rena's fault. She's blatantly overtuned. She's ridiculously overpowered. Shout out to the playtesters and Ometa for letting this happen, because she straight up makes the game less fun. So I would slide these two down if anti-heal was in a better place, but it's just really not right now. Same thing with these. Shinbi I don't view as like a top of A tier hero, but hey, based off of win rates, she's up here consistently. #1 win rate in Diamond and Gold. A little bit lower in Plat, but still up there. Solid hero, solid hero. Yin, same way. It takes a little bit to get her rolling, but when you are rolling, counters a lot of heroes with projectiles and tanks. She's usually shredding tanks with Sky Splitter and stuff. Sparrow Kira, top carries. Comfortably top carries, I think. Count very strong, counters most solo laners. Bellico ridiculously strong, auto attack presence in mid lane is very impactful when you're out clearing so fast. Faye, Gadget, solid mid laners, great team fight potential. Crunch, very oppressive on healing builds. Feng Mao, great if you get ahead. Skylar, the best tank killer in the game with her beam. The big 3 tanks, Richter, Morn, Steel. Man, incredible supports here. Tank supports are more than viable, beyond viable, and the fact that all 3 of these can play solo lane as well, they've got to be up here in A tier. Quang, very solid. You could make an argument for him to be up here closer to the crunch range, but I've seen some people that aren't great with Quang, and it's harder. You have to hit those tethers to find the value with him. Aurora, easier to play, more consistent value. Can flex into jungle and support decently. Iggy, great objective secure. Decent burst damage too late game with the Molotov augment now. Howie, solid mid laner, great oppression from both his ult move speed aug and his attack speed aug. Very fun to play right now. Twin, one of the most versatile carries in the game as far as builds. Wukong, great if you're great with him. Great presence in the solo lane. Burns through mana pretty fast though, and pretty squishy if you get CC'd. Sereth, not as good as she was, but still quite strong since the cooldown buffs. Zarus, great late game if you get ahead and get rolling with those old stacks. Doesn't really outcompete some of these other solo laners. In lane early. Murdoch, standard issue carry, middle of the road carry, still does Murdoch things. Morgash, fundamentally bad hero, weak kit on paper until you look at how strong lifesteal is versus anti-heal, and then it just forces her into a huge win rate. Super oppressive in solo lane too. Greystone, out of disrespect for Morgash, we're going to slide above Mori. Greystone, he does Greystone things, still hits the revive in clutch moments. Quite a strong hero. In the right hands, good to build diversity as well. Kalari, same ordeal. If you get ahead with Kalari in the right hands, you're setting your team up for a win. Decker, easy to play, consistent value support. Narb, weak early, great late game. Best team healer in the game by far. Good thunk. I mean, just an overall a great kit. Great objective secure potential too. Zinx, niche, very niche. Tempted to slide her down because of what she does offer. But then again, you compare her to Muriel, and Muriel can't really do some of the things that Zinx can do. So I think this is kind of a give and take between these two. They're close. You could put them either way. You have to like be pretty decent with Zinx or Muriel for the other team to feel the impact of you being there. Argus, realistically, Argus should probably slide up some here, because I feel like the skill ceiling on Argus is quite high. I think, again, just out of pure disrespect for Morgash and the fact that her win rates have skyrocketed despite her receiving nerfs, just because people have caught on to how weak anti-heal is, I think we'll slide Argus up, because I have had great games with him, and I think he can carry games and flex into support well, so we'll slide him up here. Rev, hard to out DPS, at least out consistently DPS most of the other carries, but if you get ahead with him, he's got great niche tech potential. Gideon, I'm not a fan of trading the DPS of some of these other mages for the safety of the teleport, but if you are good, you know, it's nice. Or if you're even bad, it's nice because you have a lot of room for error in mid lane. Narb got unjust nerfs. We'll actually slide him here behind Sev, because I just don't, Ramp, I just don't see many situations where you're picking Ramp over this competition right now in jungle or solo or support. I can't believe they nerfed him realistically. Sev, tankiest hero in the game, late game, but you gotta work for it by stacking up early. Grim, a great carry still, I think definitely on par with like the Dox and the Twin Blast. It's just a niche pick. If your team has all magical, you're cooked. Yuri got the nerfs. You gotta work a little bit harder with her to get the value out of her, but still very fundamentally strong. Despite her low win rate, gotta keep her in C tier for me. Wraith, same deal. If you're really good with him, you can great value with him, but a consistently low win rate hero, always has been, probably always will be, right? Drongo, it's a very situational pick where you would want Drongo. Looking at the carries he's stacked up against, I just don't see it the majority of the time, but if you're a big Drongo fan, or if you're really good with him, go for it. Still very viable. Carries are tightly balanced role. Grux doesn't do anything special, just CC chains and heals. Build anti-heal against him and act like it's doing anything, I guess, is my best recommendation. Just really don't play Grux. Unless you just aren't good with any of these other ones, I would not recommend playing Grux. Still feels overtuned at times because of his bleed tick being so ridiculous and lifesteal being what it is, but just a situational pick. If some of these other ones are off the board or whatever, then I guess go for him maybe. Phase, I think we're going to leave her in C tier. I think she does, the amount that she heals now is very strong because it got better scaling. So she will heal like as much as a Zinx the majority of the time. Probably not as much as a Narb late game, but as much as a Zinx the majority of the time. So a situational pick. If you're good with her, you can get good value, has great mobility, can manage team fights interestingly, brings a little different dynamic to the team. So a nice situational pick. And then Terra, it's rough to see her down here. Can't believe she just, I can't believe they would nerf her after she was just kind of feeling like in a decent spot. A bottom 4 win rate hero at every rank, silver through diamond. You have to work too hard to get the value out of her, but you can still have good games with her if you are good with her. So that's going to do it. I like how that stacked out. I'll zoom out here, get the full tier list on the screen, and get my face cam out of the way a little bit. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Like I said, check out the statistics on ometa.city heroes page. You can view win rate and pick rate statistics since the last patch. We're looking forward to version 1.8 coming in a little less than 2 weeks here on September the 2nd, I believe it is, right? Let me check. Yep, September the 2nd is when we're looking at that. So yeah, that should be, we're looking forward to it. Let me know your thoughts on this tier list. Where did I get it right? Where did I get it wrong? Make your argument for Rena being not ridiculously overpowered in the comments. I'm sure I won't have to be the only one to tell you that you're mistaken on that one. Come hang out with us on the live streams. We've been having a ton of fun getting back into some more ranked games recently. Rest in peace, Legacy. I would not play on this old map at all if Legacy was still in the game. Keep that in mind, because I didn't play on this map at all when Legacy was in the game. So let me know your thoughts. Check out the 1.7.3 State of the Game video as well if you haven't seen that one yet. A lot of meta discussion going on in the comments and about what we want to see for the future of the game. A lot of that discussion going on in the comments. So we'll catch you on the lives. Thanks for stopping by, and keep enjoying Pred, folks. Just keep enjoying Pred.